Hello and welcome to day 16. I'm really excited today because I woke up this morning feeling really good. Immediately went out for a walk. Well, no, actually, it was pretty cold this morning, so I went out around noon, which is when the weather is warmest over here. But then I noticed that my legs felt like super normal and totally fine today. And so yeah, I guess whether that be sleep or just my muscles recovering really fast, I had no problems today at all with my legs. So I'm very happy about that because I was expecting some soreness, some injuries like I've had for the last couple of days, but no. And then tomorrow morning, I'm gonna go meet up with this group of runners / walkers in the local community nearby. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about that too. But yeah, today is day 16, and we'll see what's in store for us. I spent most of today looking at financial videos on YouTube and just sort of building my sense of money, what I'm gonna, and I think it's good because I'm building up this sense of habits that I need to do before I start earning income. When I start earning income, I'll have all these good mindsets in mind and know how to keep the income that I earn and not spend it on, or not lose it due to silly mistakes and the like. Just having general discipline in life. So, and also I think this conscious effort of doing yoga every single day is helping me with that too. So yeah. Welcome to day 16, guys. See you in a bit.
Hey yogis, happy Tuesday. Welcome to class. Today is going to be a 30-minute vinyasa flow, a mixture of standing and sitting postures, some twists, some back bends, a little bit of everything. Following that, we'll do some breath work, pranayama, or variation of it, and then close out our practice with meditation as always. So for today's class, you won't need much. You just need a mat. If you don't have that, you can also just use your carpet or floor. If you have a couple of blocks, you can bring those as well. They're not mandatory. All you really need is your breath. Everything else is secondary. Let's begin. We'll begin today's class in half shavasana, so on our backs. Legs bent. Soles of the feet touch the ground, knees either apart or resting together. It's okay if you can't see the screen anymore, I'll talk you through it. So once you're there, gently close down the eyes. You can place one hand on the belly and one hand on the heart. And start to tune into your breath. Before you start changing it or forcing it, just notice. And slowly start to deepen your breath. Feel the lift in the rib cage, the rise of the hands. And as you exhale, pull the belly button to the spine. Let the shoulder blades melt into the mat. Take a few more deep breaths here on your own. As you begin to welcome yourself onto the mat, into this space. Stepping into this moment, letting go of anything that you have ahead of you in your day, or anything that has already happened to you before you arrived. can think of all of that stuff later if you'd like, but for now, for the next 45 minutes or so, just see if you can keep your attention on the current breath. Everything in yoga is rooted from the breath, from that stillness within. So we begin each practice from that space. You can kind of think of it like a snow globe, where all the snow is scattering around. And we begin in stillness, so we can allow the snowflakes to fall, settle onto the ground. So we can arrive in this place with a clear mind and a clear heart, and set our intention for our practice. And then begin to hug the knees into the chest. And keep your eyes closed if you like, or open them. And then bring both knees off to the right side of your mat. Let the legs rest down. You can place your right hand on your outer left thigh or on the rib cage. The left arm extends out next to you like a T. And just take a couple soft breaths here. Try not to force yourself into anything deep. It's just a gentle twist to wake up the spine. And with the help of your right hand, bring your legs back through center. Hug the knees into the chest, reset, neutralize the spine. And send both legs off to the left. And the right arm extends out. And again, the knees back to center. Hug them one more time into the chest. And then happy baby, so grab onto the outsides of the feet or the heels, or even the shins or the knees if the feet aren't accessible. Maybe rock left and right, massage out the spine, or straighten one leg and then the other. And just play around for a few breaths. Move your body in a way that feels good to you. And then hold on to the hamstrings as you start to rock forward and back a few times. And eventually we'll meet in boat pose. So once you're there, the shins are parallel to the ground. You can extend your arms straight out towards the feet. Feet are either flexed or extended. You can have a combination of the both. So I kind of point my feet and then I flex my toes. So completely up to you. As long as you have engagement in the feet, that's what we're looking for. So as you continue to reach your chest forward towards your quads, then you can start to retract the shoulder blades on your back, sit a little bit taller, engage the core even more. Then keep the legs where they're at, bring the palms together, hands at the heart, and then reach over to the right side like a twist. The right elbow comes close to the ground, let it hover, and then through center and over to the left. Back over to the right and to the left. So we'll do a few more rounds of Russian twists, but each time you come through center, see if you can keep that core engagement. Keep the chest close to the quads so you're not collapsing and rounding the back. If you start to feel any pain in the hip flexors or the low back, you can of course set down the heels. And let's finish up this last round, and we'll end with the elbows to the left, even it out. Back up to center, we meet in boat, and then cross the ankles, come into tabletop. For a wrist warm up, so tuck the toes under first, and then sit back towards the heels, so we begin to stretch out the bottoms of the feet. We ignore the feet quite often. We put them in a lot of shoes that are very tight and molded to the feet. So often the feet don't get a lot of stretching and love. So this is definitely something that Flo and I do in almost every class. The feet need some love too. And then keep the arms straight, the eyes of the elbows point forward. So you externally rotate the arms, your biceps point forward. Start to shift forward, come up over the wrists, and then send it back towards the heels. Forward and back a few more times. We're just warming up the wrists.
Wait, what did she say?
And that Flo and I do in almost every class. The feet need some love too. And then keep the arms straight, the eyes of the elbows point forward. So you externally rotate the arms, your biceps point forward.
How do you
start to shift
point your elbows
forward? So you
That
externally
doesn't make any
rotate the
sense.
arms, your biceps straight, the eyes of the elbows point forward. So you
Eyes
externally
of
rotate
the
the arms, your
elbows.
biceps point forward. Start to shift forward, come up over the wrists, and then send it back towards the heels. Forward and back a few more times. We're just warming up the wrists. We have a whole video on just wrist warm-ups, so you can also check that out later. We always warm up the wrist before our practice because it's a lot of weight bearing. It's good to make sure that they're oxygenated through compression. And now come on to the backs of the hands. The fingertips are actually going to point towards each other. And then the palms face up towards your chest. And then make a fist with the hands. And then open the fingers up, lay the wrists back down. Make that fist and lower. Let's do 8 more. You might hear a little popping or cracking in the wrists. That's fine. Just make sure you avoid any sensations of pain or tingling or anything sharp. Just doing a little bit of dynamic movement to wake up the wrists. And then sit back on the heels, shake out the wrists. And again, place the hands and step the feet back, high plank. So in high plank, you want to protract the shoulders away from each other. So if you have that valley between your shoulder blades, you want to eliminate it by pushing up, lifting the mid back. And then the hips are about the same height as the shoulders, so it might feel a little bit weird, but we do that so that we can engage the front side of our body, and it helps reduce the dumping of the weight in the low back. 2 more breaths here. And exhale, lift the hips, downward dog. Once you're there, start to pedal out the legs. Don't worry if your heels don't touch the ground. It's not nearly as important as opening up the shoulders, the collarbone. And then find some stillness here in your downward dog, wherever you're at, however that looks for you. And begin to engage your Ujjayi breath. It's that gentle sound of the ocean in the back of your throat. And see if you can maintain that breath throughout your entire practice. If you notice that the breath is lost or that you're trying to catch your breath, it's a good sign to take child's pose. Take a little break and then join back in whenever you're ready. From here, inhale, shift forward, high plank. Knees up or down, lower all the way down to the ground. And then come onto the forearms for Sphinx pose. Come onto the tops of the feet. The elbows are below the shoulders. You could either gaze straight ahead or down just a couple inches above your mat between the hands. Wherever you're at, keep the glutes engaged. If you have any low back pain, you can spread the feet a little bit wider, create a little more space for your sacrum. And if you don't feel a stretch here, if you're super bendy in the back, then you're welcome to keep the hands where they're at and just straighten the arms as you come into seal pose. Even for me, that pose is a little bit too deep. So Flo is doing it here, but I'll stay in Sphinx. If you took seal pose, gently lower down. And then all together, lower the chest. Put the hands underneath the shoulders, press the hips back, child's pose. And then lift the hips, tuck the toes, downward dog. Inhale, right leg to the sky, 3-legged dog. Left heel lifts off as you exhale, right knee to left elbow. Hold it here. Create a little bit of a twist in the body. You're hugging that thigh into the chest. And then slowly you're gonna extend the right foot underneath your body for starfish. Left arm reaches up over your head. The left heel lowers down. Engage the glutes. And push up out of your right shoulder socket. And exhale, lower the hips all the way down. Seated forward straddle folds. You're facing the back left corner of your mat. Inhale, arms to the sky. And exhale, forward fold. We're not here for long, so take this opportunity to regain control of the breath. Slow it back down. The feet are flexed. You feel that stretch in the hamstrings, the hips. And begin to walk your hands back towards your hips. Place the right hand down at the top of the mat, and then inhale back to starfish. Left arm up overhead, and exhale, left palm down on the mat. Inhale, right leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to chest or to nose. Hold it there. Push away, press onto the inside of the hands, and then flex the right foot, silently step it between the hands. For low lunge, set down the left knee, untuck the left toes, and actually reach the hands behind you. Interlace the hands, and start to send the fist down the left hamstring. And at the same time, you're pressing the hips forward. You feel that stretch in your left hip flexor, and that opening of the shoulders and the chest. As you release the hands, you're going to take an open twist. So left hand comes forward, right hand comes back. So both hands are parallel to the ground. And you're using your core to help come into that twist just a little bit more. And inhale, both arms to the sky, low lunge. And exhale for half split. Start to straighten your right leg. Maybe walk your right heel forward a few inches. Ideally, you have your left hip stacked on top of your left knee. For both Flo and I, we have pretty long legs, so we always have to walk our right heel forward. It might not be the case for you. Once you make your adjustments and you feel like you're in a good spot, you could either keep the fingertips down on the ground. You could also grab a couple of blocks, place them under the hands. But either way, you want to have a little bit of a micro bend in the right knee, so you're not hyperextending the knee joint. And as you inhale, find that length in the spine. And exhale, melt down over the legs. Continue with that inhale, lengthen. And exhale, soften. A few more breaths here on your own. Slowly start to rebend the right knee. Right sole of the foot touches down. As you shift forward, warrior three prep. Left foot floats up off the ground. Again, either fingertips down on the ground or on a couple of blocks. But either way, your left leg is completely straight. Try to engage all the muscles of the left leg. And then again, you keep that micro bend of the right knee. And oftentimes we have a tendency to lift that left hip up high because it's easier. So try to resist doing that. Try to lower the left hip down so it's the same height as the right. That'll again increase the stretch in the right hamstring. So instead of collapsing the chest down towards the right quad, just like we did in Sphinx pose where you pull the shoulder blades back, that's what we're doing here with our chest. So we're using the muscles in our back to keep our chest lifted. Last breath. Start to rebend the right knee. Left foot touches down back of the mat for warrior two. Right arm reaches forward. Left arm back. And that right leg is almost 90 degrees. So the right knee is above the right ankle. And if you notice that your knee is collapsing inwards, See if you could either come up out of the pose to open the knee, or you just need to pivot your left foot to the left 1 inch so that you can reduce the twisting in the knee joint. As you inhale, right hand flips up towards the sky, reverse it back. And exhale, extended side angle, right forearm gently touches down on the thigh, left arm up over your head. Inhale, reverse. And exhale, spider the arms over to the left. Sorry, spider lunge to the left as you spiral the arms. So we'll take a low spider lunge this time, so the left heel might lift off. But either way, we're looking for that sensation in the stretch of the right hamstring or the groin. And then begin to move forward towards the front of your mat. Left palm touches down. Come onto the knife edge of your left foot, side plank on the left. Stack the feet. Right arm reaches up to the sky. If you need to kickstand one leg, you're welcome to. You could either take that bottom leg down or the top leg as well. So there's a couple of options here. What's important is that you're pushing the ground away so you're not sinking into your left shoulder socket. Keep the hips lifted, the core engaged. Last breath. As you exhale, follow the right hand all the way down to the mat as you switch sides for wild thing. Knife edge of the right foot, left foot steps behind the right calf. Left arm reaches up over your head. Engage the glutes. Lift away. So wild thing is a bit of a funky pose. It's one of the very few poses in yoga that you're not on a single plane, or any plane for that matter. So it's okay if it looks a little different for you. Just play around with it as long as you don't feel pain. Doing it right. As you exhale, again, follow that left hand. We're gonna rest our left forearm all the way down on the mat. Right arm up to the sky. Left side forearm plank. If you can, instead of having your left forearm parallel with the top of your mat, see if you can make it parallel with the edge. So you have an external rotation of the left arm. Last breath. And exhale, full forearm plank, both forearms down. Step the feet hip distance apart. Reset, tuck the tailbone under. Imagine pulling your toes closer to your elbows. Feel the whole interior line, the front side of your body start to engage. Warm up. And then slowly lower the hips down. And then the chest lowers down as well. Interlace the hands behind the back. For locust with C arms, as you inhale, lift everything up. So the thighs lift off, the chest lifts off, the hands are lifting up to the sky. Glutes are super engaged. And exhale, lower down. We'll all meet in downward dog. You could either get there through child's pose or high plank. Your choice, as always. Move in a way that feels good for you. Inhale, left leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Inhale, right heel lifts as you exhale, left knee to right elbow. Hold it there, a little bit of a twist. And then extend the leg under for starfish. Right arm reaches up over your head. And exhale, lower the hips down. And seated forward straddle fold, both hands to the sky, big breath. Flex the feet. And exhale, forward fold. It's easy to get the breath going and speed it up. But for O and I, an advanced yogi is someone that can also slow it down, someone that can be put in a somewhat stressful situation or a high intensity situation, and understand that by utilization of the breath, they can slow down their heart rate, slow down their mind, chill out the nervous system, all with the breath. So take 2 more breaths here to soften and relax. Then walk your hands back to your hips. Left hand comes to the top of the mat. We meet back in starfish. Exhale, right hand down. Inhale, left leg to the sky, 3-legged dog.
Oh,
exhale, left knee to nose. Exhale, right hand down. Inhale, left leg to the sky, 3-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to nose. Hold it here. Flex the left foot, step it between the hands for low lunge. Step down the right knee, interlace the hands behind the back. Send the hips forward and down. The gaze can either be ahead, in front of you, or up a little bit towards the ceiling, whatever's comfortable for you. As you release the release the grip, come into a twist, right arm forward, left arm back. If you feel unstable here, you could always heel toe your left foot to the left, 1 or 2 inches, give you a little bit more surface area. And inhale, both arms to the sky, low lunge. Start to straighten the left leg for half splits. So about 5 breaths here. Keep that micro bend in the left knee. And let the breath sort of pull you into the pose. You're not forcing yourself into it. You're not, wedging yourself into getting to your edge. You can kind of imagine that the breath is like a horse and your body is the chariot. So you always let the horse lead the way. In the same way that we let the breath sort of pull us into these movements through our practice, it allows us to tune into our bodies a little bit better. Begin to rebend the left knee. We come into Warrior 3 prep. Right foot slowly floats up. Right leg is completely straight. Fingertips down on the ground or on a couple of blocks. And the neck is nice and long, so there's no wrinkles in the back of the neck. Your gaze is straight down towards the ground. So you have that straight line from the crown of your head to your right heel. As we transition to Warrior 2, start to slowly bend the left knee. Keep that left knee tracking over the foot as the right foot touches down back of the mat. Sink the hips down low. Tuck the tailbone under so you're not sticking out the rib cage. And send all the energy out the fingertips. The gaze is straight over the left middle finger, unless that's uncomfortable in your neck. In yoga, we call that our drishti. It's that point of gaze. It's that stillness in the pose where we focus our attention and we arrive in the present. Left hand flips up towards the sky. Inhale, reverse it back. And exhale, extended side angle, right arm up over your head. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, spiral the hands down. We meet in spider lunge on the right.
Sorry about that. Something happened with the heating pipes, I guess.
Inhale, reverse. And exhale, spiral the hands down. We meet in spider lunge on the right. Right leg is bent, left leg is straight. If you don't feel a stretch here, then you can send the hips back just a little bit more to the left side of your mat. Then move towards the front of your mat. Right palm touches down for side plank on the right. Spread the fingers wide, create that good foundation with the hands. Glutes are engaged, core is engaged, hips are lifted, almost as if someone is pulling your left hand up towards the sky. Now follow your left hand all the way down to the mat for wild thing on the left. Switch the feet, right foot steps behind the left calf, right arm up over your head. As we switch back over to the right, you're going to land your right forearm down to the ground for right side forearm plank. Just try your best here. It's okay if you fall, as long as you're safe. Exhale, left forearm down. We meet in full forearm plank. So both forearms are parallel to each other like railroad tracks. And again, tuck the tailbone. Push the shoulder blades away from each other. And then lower the hips down. Lower the chest down. Interlace the hands behind the back. Locust with seat arms once again. Inhale, lift up. Glutes engage. Gaze is down just a couple inches above your mat. And exhale, lower down. Maybe shake the hips for a moment. Release the tension in your low back. Then either through child's pose or through high plank, we meet in down dog. And we'll all meet in Balasana, yogi squat, top of the mat. You can either walk the feet there or float the feet up. And land them down outside the hands. Palms come together. Triceps press inside the thighs. Gently sway the hips. Maybe take a wrist release, come onto the backs of the hands or roll out the wrists. And then begin to make your way onto your back. Once you're there, you're going to cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh for figure four pose. Now you could either just keep it here as it is. For some people, this is already enough of a stretch in the outer right glute. Otherwise, you can reach your right hand through the triangle of your legs and start to pull your legs up. You could either hold on to your hamstring or your left shin and start to pull the legs into the chest. What's important here is that you keep the right foot flexed, so meaning that the right toes are pointing towards the right knee. We want to keep the ligaments engaged in the knee to reduce the twisting. And we're going to keep the figure four with the legs, but we'll start to release the hands. And then we're going to bring both legs as they are, keep them static in this position, and then just bring them over to the left. So that left outer thigh will touch down on the ground. The right sole of the foot will as well. If you'd like, you can press your left hand inside your right inner thigh and extend your right arm out to your side. Now, if this feels funky or weird to you on the hips or the back, you could always just release the right leg down and stack the legs on top of each other, just like we did at the beginning of class. So it's important to always modify your poses to make sure that they feel good in your own body, especially in a class like this where it's a video and it's only one way. We really don't know what you're doing on that side of the screen. So it's even more important that you tune into your body and only take it to the limits that feel good for you. And then bring both legs back to center. Hug the knees into the chest, just to reset the spine. And then place both soles of the feet on the ground as we come into bridge pose. The hands come close to the heels. As you press into the heels, start to lift the hips up. Engage the glutes. Keep a little bit of space between your chin and your sternum so you're not compressing the back of your neck. And then reach your arms up over your head. The heels lift off as you slowly lower the hips all the way back down. Once the hips touch down, you can bring the hands back down to your sides. Cross the left ankle on top of the right thigh. And again, modify however you'd like to come into that figure four. What we're looking for here is to stretch our outer left hip or our glute, or the piriformis muscle, which runs from the base of your spine down to your left femur. So for each person, this pose is going to look a little bit different. Once you're in the position, maybe even close the eyes. Bring the attention back to the breath. Now keep the legs in the figure four position and come into that twist on the right. So right sole of the foot comes down to the ground. The outer right thigh touches down. Consider pressing the left knee away and extending the left arm out. And bring the legs back to center. Hug the knees into the chest one more time. Neutralize the spine. And then grab onto the outsides of the feet for happy baby. Or the heels. Or the shins. Lots of options. Slowly release the feet and your heels. Find your way to the corners of the mat for your final pose of this asana practice. As always, Shavasana. So palms face up towards the sky. Tuck the shoulder blades under. Maybe wiggle the jaw. Release the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Close the eyes. Let your eyeballs sink into your eye sockets as you completely relax the muscles in your face. And just imagine that relaxation sort of pouring over your body from your face all the way down. With every exhale, you release, you relax just a little bit more. There's nothing for you to do. There's nowhere for you to go. You've already moved your body in many directions, many poses. You've stretched things, you've strengthened things. Now the purpose of this pose is just to surrender, to allow yourself to be, to fully accept where you are in this moment, in this space, in this time. as we practice that acceptance, that love for ourselves grows a little bit more, and we can pour that love onto others. But we cannot pour from an empty cup. So practicing self-love is so important. So give yourself a minute or two here to bring your attention to the breath. And let everything else go. And take a deep breath in. Feel that lift in the chest. And exhale, open mouth, let it go. Take 2 more breaths like this. And let the breath be the thing that wakes you back up into this space, welcomes you back to this dimension. And then start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Put your arms up over your head. And then bend the knees and roll onto one side. And keep the eyes closed. As you slowly and very mindfully move yourself back up to a comfortable seat. Once you're there, you can either sit cross-legged or in hero's pose. You can also sit on a block, a pillow, or a bolster if you'd like. Before we slip into meditation, we'll do a form of pranayama, breath work, a variation of it called Ostrika. So with this, I'd like you to place the hands on the thighs. And of course, at any point, if this doesn't feel good for you, if you start to get super lightheaded, or especially if you have a history of epilepsy, or if you're pregnant, please skip this part and just continue with your meditation along with the video. So if you're ready to join, what we're going to do is just take a deep inhale in, fill up the lungs all the way fully, and then exhale and just relax. So it's sort of like releasing a rubber band. So it sounds like this. So it's deep inhales in, continue breathing. So you inhale fully, and then you let go. Got about 20 more. Don't worry about counting. Just continue breathing. I'll let you know when to stop. So fully in. Release. Start to slow down the breath. Last 3, last 2, and on the last exhale here, exhale all the air out and then hold the breath at the bottom. So keep that retention of breath. There's no breath in the lungs. You're holding it out. Soften the muscles in the face. Relax the shoulders. Continue to hold unless you really need to breathe in. We're here for just 15 more seconds. And take a deep inhale, fill up the lungs all the way. And then hold at the top. We're not here for long, just about 15 seconds. Continue to hold. And exhale, release. Let your breath come back to its natural state. You can either keep the palms facing down on the thighs, or if you like to face them up towards the sky, you're welcome to. You can touch the pointer finger to the thumb, or you can also just cross your hands in your lap. Don't worry so much about what the body is doing. Just notice that sensation within of feeling light, that softness, that ease. Take a moment to notice how beautiful the magic of the breath is. Without even telling the lungs to pump thousands of times a day, they do it on their own. So take a moment to give yourself a little bit of extra gratitude, a little bit of extra love for your body that moves and breathes for you every day. We'll be here in stillness in this meditation for just a couple of minutes. So just allow whatever arises within to arise. No need to force anything or change anything or judge your thoughts or that inner chatter. Just sort of become a fly on the wall. You just observe what is coming up without chasing the thoughts or having some sort of emotional reaction to them. Just see if you can observe. And if your mind starts to chase that thought, in that moment where you catch yourself and you bring yourself back to the breath, I invite you to do it with love and kindness towards yourself, towards your mind, towards your heart. Meditation is one of the most challenging things you can do in your life, but it's worth it to take that journey inwards, feel that freedom from within. And this is just a practice. Some days are better than others, so there's no judgment here. Just allow yourself to be as you are in this moment. Put all of your attention on the breath and observe. And on your next inhale, bring your hands together at the heart, palms touch, and gently bow your head down towards your hands. And remind yourself that you are enough. You're here for a purpose. You belong. So be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and remember that the universe always has your back. Thank you so much for joining us for this practice today. We really, really appreciate the support. We're excited to watch your journey with love and gratitude. Namaste.
Hey yogis, welcome to Wednesday. Good job making it through the Monday and
So this morning when I was taking my walk, I went out with Pokey, and I was listening to an audiobook initially, but then I noticed the energy of the trees and the chirping of the birds and the breeze rustling through the branches. And then I realized everything is so alive. The trees aren't still, they always move with the breeze. And those rustling sounds they make, they form, along with the chirping of the birds, they're all part of life. They form this soundscape of life. And it was just so beautiful to witness the trees, the birds, the sunshine, being conduits of the divine energy that exists in this world. And then to feel that same energy flowing through me. And today, during the meditation, I think of all the meditations I've ever done, today was the first time where I was successfully able to maintain the state, the meditative state, while being distracted by my thoughts. But then, when I notice my thoughts and come back to the breath, I never broke apart from that meditative state. I kept it going, and this was the first time that I witnessed that or experienced that feeling, that physical and mental sensation of my thoughts just being drifting leaves on a river, drifting away downstream, gently floating away. And it was a gorgeous, gorgeous feeling. And yes, I do actually get quite a few injuries when I'm doing yoga, because yoga is hard. It pushes us to our limits. It stretches those muscles, both the ones that I don't have and the ones that I don't have, that are developing and growing every time, that I'm developing and growing every time I do a yoga session, and those rigid, cold ones that I already have but aren't warmed up and aren't flexible. And so my legs were fine today, but that doesn't mean they're feeling 100. They're actually a little bit sore. My lower back's also a little bit sore. And this morning, when I was taking that walk with Pokey, actually my whole right side over here, it was pretty injured because Pokey she's a very excitable doggy. She's 3 years old, so she's not really a puppy anymore, but she's still very excitable and pulls a lot, tugs a lot. And so my right side is usually my dominant side, and so when I'm taking walks with Pokey, usually that's the one that gets pulled. And so this morning I became aware of the injury that existed in my arms, my pecs, and my biceps, because yesterday's session sort of pushed it a little bit. But it's good. It means that I'm growing. And it means those muscles are tearing themselves down and building themselves back up again, but stronger. Just like how we as human beings pass through trials in life, and when we survive, we come back stronger and we learn from our lessons. Or at least, that's my hope for most people. My hope is that people face trials and they survive, no matter how difficult it is. They survive, they overcome, and then they come out stronger on the other side. And so when I stepped onto the mat today, definitely my upper body injuries near here and here, they were inhibiting me a little bit. But then as the session went on, we stretched and we did warm-ups and we warmed the muscles, everything felt a lot better, and I feel a lot better. And I just feel really light and limber. And this is the best part of doing yoga for me every day, just this feeling being light and lengthened, stretched out in all the right ways after a yoga session. So if you guys are interested, definitely I would recommend IGNITE28 day. Ignite with Breathe and Flow, I believe their channel is called Breathe and Flow. Yeah, I think it's really a good program, and I'm really excited, looking forward to what I'll be like on day 28. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 17.